And now, weighing in out of the blue corner, Josh the Punk Thompson. 100%. And on the other mic, he weighs in from the red corner, Big Sean McCarthy.
Well, hello to everyone. It is a beautiful day here in March. We are past St. Patrick's Day. God bless America. That is a fantastic holiday where you drink beer and whiskey. I know, Josh, you just gave a little bit of your time into that factor. You're coming back from Sacramento where you were coaching big-time grappling competitions where the guy fucking ended the match in 10 seconds. But congratulations on the win. We had big fights in the UFC. We're going to talk about those and all the things happening in the sport of MMA. How you feeling? Did you get any sleep?
I got a little bit, you know.
Don't yawn. Don't yawn.
John, the Bay Area it's a Saturday night, and you're heading up to Sac. You're thinking, I should be cruise. I should just put cruise control on and go. No.
That's what's wrong in the entire state of California when it comes to cities. Saturdays are traffic.
Oh, it was brutal, man. I left it I left right before the main event. I watched the main event on my phone driving. I was like, because I looked it up to see how long it would take. And it said 3 hours and 10 minutes. And I was like, what the freak? It's a 2-hour drive to Sac from my place. 2 hours.
Well,
and it took over 3 hours.
Hence why I
get
moved
there
to
and
Tennessee.
The match was, but then I get there and the match was only like 46 seconds total. My guy jumps flying triangle, gets the finish, gets the tap quickly. I was like, really? I said, hey man, I'm done coming here for these.
Let me get back in my car.
Yeah, so let me get back in my car. I stopped at a local burger shop and got some food and headed home. Man, I was tired. It was a long day yesterday, man, and I got a long day today too. So I'm going to get a workout in after we get done filming. It's early in the morning on Sunday. We're going to drop this hopefully as soon as possible, and we're going to have some fun, man. Let me see. I know. No, John, there was something we were talking off air.
Yeah.
I want to talk about some more family stuff with you. But you were at the auction yesterday all day.
I was. All day long.
What were you buying for the farm?
Oh my God! Let's see. I bought an animal trailer, so I got that. I got a great deal on it though, because normally they're super damn expensive, and so I paid very little for it. Super happy. 16 foot.
How big is it? 16 foot. How wide?
16 foot. Well, it's normal trailer
5 feet.
width.
What is
No,
it? 5 feet.
I want to say
4?
6 feet, 8 feet at the wheels or something like that.
Got it.
So. Got that, which is good because that way I can move all the animals around easily or pick them up or take them places, that they may not want to go because it's the end. But
you get out of hand, Miss McCarthy's going to put you back there.
Oh, dude, Miss McCarthy. Okay, all right, hold on. You got it. I'm at an auction, right? And it's all this farm equipment. It's fantastic. I love these things, right? And Miss McCarthy is there. And they have one little section, Josh, little section that's got like artwork. People do their artwork. They do woodworking. They do, metal, freaking things where they weld them together to make them look like an animals, wood carvings, totem poles, things like that, right? My wife, now, mind you, I have live pigs, right? She can go see a pig anytime she wants. There's plenty of them. She can pick out which one is her favorite. What does she want? This giant black metal pig statue of this Wilbur-looking sumbitch that is, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me, right? She goes, if there's any, I really want that. I go, what are you gonna do with that? And she goes, I have plans. I go, plans don't mean shit. What are you going to do with that? Right? It's none of your business. I have ideas. Right? I'm like, all right, I'm kind of stuck here because I'm going to end up having to get. So I tell her at the beginning, I said, don't look when it goes on auction. And you got to wait a long time for these things to happen.
Yeah.
You got, these guys.
It's like you got to really podcast Dave talk.
Oh, dude, you got to kind of you get used to the banner. You get used to what it is. So I said, look, all right, I'll bid for it. Don't frickin' put your hand up. Right? Especially in the beginning, we don't put our hands up. let's see where it goes, and then I'll start going. I got a cast iron pig now.
Oh, jeez.
Right? $350 for a goddamn pig statue.
That's gonna sit in your yard and just get rusty, right?
Thank you.
Ugh,
I'm
drives
like,
me crazy.
and I go, this is what we're buying? Are you kidding me? So she got her thing there. She also got a bench thing that she wanted. So I have to do that so I can get the stuff that actually works for the farm.
Oh man, that's hilarious.
No, it was good. It was a good day.
Yeah,
It was fun.
I was busy with games all yesterday. I had lacrosse games and soccer games and coaching, and just I was the man whore yesterday, just running from coach to coach to coach to coach. It was help coach this, run the sack, coach this. But it was good, man. Trying to watch the fights, catching some fight, the early prelims on my phone, then got home, watched the start of the pay-per-view up until the main event, jumped in the car, watched the main event in the car.
We're just a little bit reverse. I did my watching my prelims on my phone as I was sitting there bidding on stuff. It's like people are like looking at me like,
What are you doing?
What are you listening to? What is that? Right? That's just fights. Don't worry about it.
I wish I had normal ears, man, that I could put earbuds in without them flopping out.
Yeah.
Because it'd be nice to be able to listen to the fights. Like otherwise, I'm around people, so I turn the volume down and
Yeah.
I'll have it up a tiny bit. But all right, well, hey, let's get into some fights, man. Let's go. UFC 286, Edwards versus Usman 3. Do you want to start with the main event?
Hell yes. Why not?
Before we get started with the main event, go to onlyfans.com/weighing-in. Subscribe to our channel there. We're doing some big things over there. But it is free, guys. Everyone keeps telling me like, hey, I've been on, like they want a little bit more interaction with us. They're giving us some fan questions. So I'm loading up my OnlyFans onto my homepage. I'm going to be feeding you guys a lot more material coming up. So, make sure you guys subscribe over there. It is free. It does not cost you guys a penny. So,
let's first, before we start, let us apologize to anybody that tried to go onto our live feed because we were rudely interrupted by lightning that took Podcast Dave out of the equation and made it to where, that didn't work.
That was crazy.
You know what's funny, right, is that I don't know if people realize it. We all live in different states, and we still try to put this thing on. So it's a lot of work because we're all in different time zones. That's one. Two is the weather's different in all three locations.
Oh yeah,
and California's been. I know I'm whining and crying about California weather right now, but it's been kind of wild this last couple months. I mean, a lot of rainstorms, a lot of windstorms. I mean, there's been a lot of
snow.
Yeah, there's been a lot of snow up in towards Tahoe in Northern California, but they've had a lot of trees fall down. And, like a lot of people haven't had power since last Tuesday, because California is slow on fixing anything. So it's man, it's crazy. Yeah. So my parents are up in like near San Francisco, and they haven't had power since last Tuesday. And the worst part is they live kind of in the hills a little bit, like right before you get into the bay, on the bay side. They live right there, and there's no internet. So if there's no internet, they have no phone service. So we can't get a hold of them. So it's like not until they come into town to use the phone or do anything. So we can't. We're like, and they're older too, like in their 80s. So we got to be kind of listen up for them and see how they're doing.
Got to be checking in.
Yeah. I think they got it up yesterday. They got their power up, but their internet's still not up yet. So we will
plan on
see.
doing, we're gonna reattempt the live stream this week.
Okay.
Oh, sure we are.
Did you know this?
You just make sure that you have good weather, Dave, because we're not putting up with your shit anymore.
Watch John's weather get all fucked
That's
up.
go horrible.
The curse. Did you know that because of the rainstorms and the windstorms from like the last, I don't know, whatever, couple months of California, this weather is nothing like when it was like when I lived in Idaho, when I have friends that live in other areas, and you know where you're at. And I know even I've seen storms in Kansas and in Texas.
Those are storms.
This is nothing like, this weather here is nothing like, but they postponed filing your taxes here until October.
Because people in California are so special. They can't deal with just a little bit out of the usual weather.
Yeah, I mean, we had fallen trees and stuff like that. My power was out for a while, and then we had fallen trees, and I'd have some trees taken off my property and stuff like that. But I don't know, man. That's like, I mean, it was hard to find people to come do it because they were kind of busy doing other stuff. But anyways, and I had a tree fall from in my backyard. One of my palm trees fell right between my garage and my neighbor's house.
Nice.
Right between.
Nice.
Didn't hit the fence. Didn't
touch
hit
it.
their house. Didn't hit my
didn't even hit
house.
the fence.
Nope. Just broke my concrete a little bit. That sucked, but it is.
Well,
what
if there's
it is.
anything that I have gained total respect for, it is an arborist, because those guys, they know what they're doing. I have cut down now a ton of trees that break, and you have to take care of them and stuff. And that's all after, yes, the one tree attacked me and broke all my ribs. But boy, I'll tell you what, you learn. Oh no, I'm not taking that chance anymore. I'm not going to go out. I'm going to tie this off. I'm going to do this. You do everything you can to make sure that tree cannot in any way bounce or do anything that's going to end up fucking you up.
Oh man.
It's
All right,
not as easy as people think. All right, let's go into the fights. Come on.
Yes. Let's do it.
Leon Edwards versus Kamaru Usman in the main event for the welterweight title. This is the rematch. Well, no, it was a rematch from the title fight. It was a trilogy fight, since it was the third, since both owned a victory. Usman winning the first fight, and Leon Edwards headshot, you're dead, kicked him to unconsciousness in the 5th round of their second fight. A lot of people were looking at, Usman at the time. They were saying, oh, he was the pound for pound and all that. Maybe he was. But in the rematch, talk to me, Josh. What differences did you see? Because I saw some differences.
Yeah. When you have a fighter like Usman who hadn't been beaten in a long, long time, and then he's on a run in his title run, and then he loses, and then he comes back and he loses again, and people go and they say, oh, he's done, he's over. He's not done. He's not over. Like those are the things, like Valentina Shevchenko. I already saw people online going, yeah, she was never that good. What are you talking about? Like what? Like this is what people have to remember. This is what makes guys like John Jones so special. Is for them to get up every morning and go, all right, I'm motivated to beat this other guy that I've seen come up and
beat the next,
and beat the next. And and a lot of times John made it look easy, and Kamaru made it look easy a lot of times. I mean, sure, he had some really tough fights with Colby. But I mean, he's made it look pretty dominant throughout his title runs, and and his rise up too. He made it look pretty easy getting there. Yep. He's a dominant fighter, but I don't know if it's because now in the back of my head, him mentioning the knee surgeries, or his knees are real bad from all the years of wrestling. The hand is, it seemed like it was fine. But what I did notice is that, and I know that Leon's fast. I've sparred with Leon. I've trained with Leon. I know he's a fast fighter. We all know he's a fast fighter. He's come into his own. But in this situation, Usman looked a little bit slower. The way he stalked after Leon, the movement, all of those things just seemed a little bit slower. Now, coming off of a surgery, sometimes you don't get back into your full rhythm of what you're doing, but I thought Leon had a good game plan. His ability to get up was fantastic. Kamaru is, I feel like he's still where he was beforehand. I just feel like he wasn't on as much as he was before he lost the title. He was on a run. He seemed like he was really growing and getting better every fight. I feel like he was a little bit off. I don't want to say off. He just wasn't where he was right before, the fight before he fought Leon and the fight he fought Leon. He seemed like he was slightly, not different. I guess maybe a little bit off. I have to say off. Yeah, he was a little bit off.
looking at it, when I say I saw differences, and I'm not going to say I saw a lot of differences in Usman. I really didn't. I was very impressed with his chin. I thought he took some hard shots. He took that knee that was hard.
Yeah.
He took some uppercuts and some left hand straight down the pipe that you go, hey, that was a clean shot. And when a clean shot lands, it can disrupt you. And he ate them all and kept coming. The real difference I saw was Leon Edwards, in that Leon had he had more confidence and believed in his hands. And the thing that's always made him good, two things: speed and accuracy. He's a sniper. He's very good at putting shots where he wants them to be. And he was very good at putting shots on Usman when he threw. There was times I was thinking, you need to throw more. You need to up that output just a little bit more. But Usman really impressed me with the way he actually fought, as far as he was pressing. He was doing what he was supposed to do for most of the fight to get a win. And the pressing, this is where people get a little confused. Just because you're coming forward doesn't mean you're winning the fight. You've got to come forward and put the shots on your opponent or get the takedowns that are going to allow someone to say you are the one that's, the cleaner fighter, the more damaging fighter, the more, control of where the fight and engagements occurred. I did think, just like you said, and it's just a little bit, but there's got to be that point, Josh, where we all, whoever it is, you reach the very best of what you're going to be. And there's only one direction to go. And it might, it's not like it's, you're plummeting down, but as you reach that plateau, you may be able to maintain it, but it's never going to get any more. And I think that Kamaru's at that point where, look, he's good and he can beat just about any welterweight in the UFC. I think that the speed factor of Leon is now where his problem lies. Speed is always difficult. It's difficult. I used to complain about it. I said, but there's one that I don't care how strong someone is. I care how fast they are, because strength I can deal with. Speed just eats me up because I can't get there fast enough. They're touching me. They're out. All these things that occur, and it becomes this vicious cycle as you're in there that just keeps repeating itself. And that's kind of what happened at times in this fight. Kamaru would close that space and try to land, and Leon was landing the more effective shots. And he just couldn't get past that for a lot of it. He tried to mix up the takedowns. And as you said, Leon had a fantastic defense. You saw him, he baseball gripped on one arm how many times to keep him from being able to close his arms. It's a smart defense against a wrestler that goes usually after double legs and picks people up. Usman's not the guy that turns corners on guys and drives them in different directions a lot. That's not who he is. And so what Leon did against Kamaru was super smart. It may not work against another guy, but against Kamaru, it was a fantastic game plan as far as, hey, when he comes in, this is what we're going to do. And he got himself out of most. And when he did hit the ground, for the most part, there was never damage. And he was able to get himself back up. I look at Kamaru and he's in that spot, and we've seen it with how many champions that there comes that point where, the best that you could be is now past. It's not that you're not fantastic still. You are. It's just that guy that now holds that title, he's a hard match for you at this point in your career.
Yeah, I mean, like, if I look at the rest of the weight class, I think there's guys in there that he's already beaten, that if they are able to get past Leon, which stylistically they may be able to, they have the style to beat Leon. No matter what, Leon's output is not it's not a lot. So guys like Colby, guys like Colby could potentially run him down, work him down. I mean, he gave the first or the second fight, I should say. He said, "Oh, it's because of the altitude in Salt Lake." Possibly.
No, there was a difference.
Yeah.
Oh yeah,
there was.
Both of them looked in fantastic shape.
Yeah, both of them are in fantastic shape, and there's a lot that goes into it. People Kamaru had a great game plan in the 4th and 5th round. Was press, make him throw, and when he throws, shoot on him, hang on him, make him work. And he did. He did a great job of doing that. He just couldn't get the takedowns and solidify the takedowns to hold him there.
Yep.
Now, Kamaru's just he's fantastic. Just style. I think the style last night and how many times they fought, you really start to figure this person out. That's why, I'm kind of a fan of the trilogies if the first two fights were decent, because in this third fight, there's a lot on the line, but they both know each other pretty well. They understand what it takes. They're not afraid of the power. They're not afraid of the speed. They know what they both offer, and it ends up being a fantastic fight. Probably more evenly matched than the first two fights, which this actually was.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've just, like I said, I've experienced the trilogy position with Gil, and I felt the first fight was dominant my way. I felt the second fight was a great fight, but it was more dominant his way. And in the third fight, we both knew what was at stake, and it became a really competitive fight where they were really picking and choosing their moments. And this seemed like very much the same way. Yeah. They both knew what they needed to do, and they both did it. Just one had a little bit more speed, like you said, landed the harder, cleaner shots. Leon, if he's going to fight Colby next, he's going to have to understand that he's going to have to keep his back off the fence at all times. At all times.
He backs up. Sometimes he backs straight up, and you go, you can't do that with Colby.
Nope. And then on top of that, one of the takedowns that happened so fast, so easily, was when Usman snatched a single and they just sat him to his butt when he ran the pipe. If you do that, just snapped him down. He just sat him right to his butt, and that was the easiest takedown he got of the whole fight. Now you should look for Colby to start hitting that open field takedown, getting to the leg and just dropping him, sitting him to his ass off the pipe. If he runs that single leg dump and just dumps him to his butt, I mean, that could be there all day, and now you're stuck in the middle of the cage on your back. And Colby does work from the top. Now, you may be able to get back up, but there's a lot of things you're going to have to figure out because they're not the same wrestlers. They're not the same. The styles are not the same.
Completely different styles.
Yeah, and the output will be a lot more in terms of Colby. I mean, it may not have a lot of snap and power on it. Like Usman's proven he can put your lights out.
Yeah.
Colby's
not that guy.
Yeah, Colby's not that guy. He's gonna hit you with 7-8 punches before you feel anything. You're like, okay, get off me, Nat. But it's still gonna be a lot. He goes
still
punches
effective.
and bunches.
Yeah.
He goes punches and bunches, and he comes aggressively with his wrestling.
Yep.
So I'm interested to see the Colby and the Leon fight. If you're gonna do it, I mean, John, what's your take on him being able to just, I guess, skip the line?
Just sit there. Well, and this is you gotta look. I'm not going to say anything bad about Colby in this situation, but you got guys that have been super busy, guys that are fighting. Bilal Muhammad, he's been fighting, and he's good. There is a little bit of a story there with Bilal and Leon, based upon they had that first fight. It ended with the eye poke. Never really came about. People can say what they want, which way the fight was going. That's fine. Fights change in a moment's time. But Colby has been, and I'm not going to say he's, in any way did anything wrong, but he's been sitting. He hasn't fought in a year since he fought, Masvidal. Now, he did have the little incident outside of the cage that might have caused some kind of, problem for him, but he's been sitting. But I'll tell you what, just because, and this is, people are, saying, why does he get the automatic? Because he came in and he did what the UFC asked. He was there as a backup fighter. And the funny part is Bilal Muhammad has been calling him out and called him out to fight in London. He could have been the backup fighter fighting in London. He could have, done that, fighting Bilal Muhammad. And if, one of these guys fell out, he got to jump in. But he's no. And just goes and he does his part. He's the backup guy. And because he's the backup guy, that automatically is now moving him into you are the guy that gets the next shot. Smooth move, Colby. Very nicely done because you played it out as well as you could play it.
Well, then I heard Dana say that, what are we doing with Bilal? Because the media guy asked, what are we doing with Bilal? Then he turns to Hunter, and Hunter goes, "Oh, we're trying to get him against Shavkat." I was like, he should be next in line.
Well, and you look at it, Rachmanov, when you look and you go, okay, he had a really tough fight, very good performance in his last one and stuff, and he's moving up. If you're Bilal, you're going, what the frick?
Yeah.
What have I done to piss everybody off here?
You did something, buddy.
I've only done everything you've asked, and now I'm on a, an 8-fight win streak. This comes down to the Dagestani claim of you got to get 10 wins. That's when they'll give you a title fight. And it's like Bilal's done everything that you can ask. He's been the main event. He's gone through guys like, Vicente Luque, which was a hell of a win. How many wins does he have in a row now? 1, 2, 3.
2, 4, 6, 8. Plus a no contest is 9.
Wow.
The no contest with Leon was right in the middle.
Yeah.
But, he's done everything. Some of the names here, not, but as they get up, he beat, the last 4, Damian Maia, Stephen Thompson, Vicente Luque, Sean Brady. Mm-hmm. Look at 4 good fighters.
Yep.
4 good fighters. A couple guys with special talents in certain areas. And, he's done a great job. That last fight with Sean Brady, he just looked fantastic in that one. And so, I don't know. It's one of those you look. If you're Bilal Muhammad, you got a little bit of you got some stuff you can say, and you can be honest. And when you're saying it, say, hey man, I've done everything, and you're giving it to that guy.
Well, because you've got, as Colby would say, you got Cumshot in there. In number 3,
yeah, but is he?
And he's not a 70-pounder. He's out. He's going to be. They're already trying to match him up at 185. So
and you come in at 9 pounds over one. Look, I love Chimaev as a fighter. I think he's fun to watch. I love the way he does things. I like his personality outside of it. When it comes to give him to me, I'll smash them on the whole thing. That's great. But he shit the bed in that Nate Diaz. No, let's just be honest, man. That was a fiasco. Mm-hmm. It was just everything, and that was set up for him. Let's be honest. We all looked at that and said, that's not a good fight for Nate. That's a bad fight for Nate. And 9 pounds. 9 pounds, Josh. Look, you can't tell me you've done things right and come in 9 pounds over. You can tell me, I did everything right and I had these problems, and you come in a pound and a half over. Okay. Mm-hmm. Those last ones are 9 pounds? No, you didn't even freaking work at it.
No, I don't normally agree with Colby Covington when he speaks. It just drives me crazy. I like him as a fighter. I think he's talented, but man, when he talks, I'm like, oh, I get that cringe. But he had a point when I saw the interview of him talking about, look, they set him up to fight a big name in Nate Diaz. They gave him every opportunity to be a star. I know he's already kind of a pretty big star right now.
Yeah.
But they were pushing you. They were fast tracking you to the title. If you beat Nate, you're getting a title shot. And you, like you said, John, he shit the fucking bed.
Yep.
And I think at 170, there's a good chance he would have been champ. But I think at 185, sure, if I put him against guys like Izzy and Pereira, he probably could become champs. But you got to get past someone like Robert Whitaker. If you get past Bobby Knuckles,
different story.
Exactly. Just styles. And when we talk about styles make matchups, that's the fight. Those are the things that we're talking about. You may be able to beat number 1 and number 2. Like I said this from the get. I said this from the get when we were talking about Johnny Eblen. And I'm not getting into the Bellator versus UFC, but Johnny Eblen to me against Robert Whitaker is a harder fight for Johnny than to fight Izzy than to fight Pereira. It's no different than Comshot. Like with him versus Whitaker, that's a really tough fight for him. Yeah, him against Izzy's still a tough fight.
Match.
Yeah, Izzy's still a tough fight for him.
It's a tough fight. Pereira's a tough fight, but their styles match up as something that gives him an advantage in the fight and makes it to where it's a difficult matchup for them.
Yeah.
And that's where we talk about all the time. Look, I can take guys and I can put them, and I'll tell you now that doesn't mean when I match these up that it's impossible for this one guy to win, but I'm going to make it to where this is a difficult matchup, And you can do that within the rankings and look and say, I'm trying. And sometimes the UFC does it. I'm trying to get this guy a win. Yeah. And it's just styles make fights. There are certain styles that give people problems, and there's styles that don't.
Yeah. I mean, I look at after what I saw, sorry, excuse me. After what I saw last night with Marvin Vettori also, he's another guy that potentially will give Kamshot a little bit of a hard time. He's got a fucking chin on him, and he's thick. He's pretty strong. That he's somebody that could potentially give Kamshot a hard time as well. Delitze, that guy as
would
well.
give him problems.
Yeah. We're gonna get into that fight. It was a good fight. But anyways, I just
Close
look at where we're at right now, and I think Bilal versus Rakhmonov. I was like, man, I feel bad for Bilal because you're one. once you get rid of Kamzat, right? Once you get rid of him, I mean, you're number 2. You're right there. You're waiting. So you're kind of waiting for the winner of the Colby fight with Leon.
Yeah.
But if I look at Leon, who Leon's like, hey, I kind of feel like, hey, I'm the king now. I get to kind of pick and choose who I want to fight. Careful, buddy. Careful.
I agree that he is the king of that division in the UFC right now. There's no doubt. He proved that. When you sit there and say, I get to pick, that might not be the term that you wanted to use.
Yeah.
That might be, there's other people in that organization. They might have more say than you. Now, you can always refuse it, but then you're talking about just getting into a situation you don't want to be in.
Yeah. Some things are better left unsaid.
Yeah.
I should have restructured that verbiage there, buddy. I love you, Leon, but
yep.
I mean, they just they keep those mental notes in the back of their head when it comes contract time. Don't think they
Their
don't.
memory is long.
Oh yeah. Oh, but they'll quickly forget shit that they don't want to remember. They'll quickly forget that. Where does Kamaru go from here? Can you pull up the weight class again for me, please? Where does he go?
Well, this comes down to, you said it many times, and it's a true statement. All right, let's take a Kamaru. He's basically 36 years of age right now.
Mm-hmm.
His birthday, I think, is in May.
Mm-hmm.
So he's going to be 36 years of age before his next fight. And if you take a look at the matchups here, there's a couple. I think that Rakhmonov would give him some problems.
Oh, absolutely.
I think that would be a tough fight for him. And so
why not him and Bilal? Why not him and Bilal?
You could definitely, but I think that, wrestling wise, I think they match up well.
Yeah.
I think the stand up, I give it to Kamaru. I think Kamaru is a little bit smoother and a little more power on his shots than Bilal. Not much.
Straighter.
It's a clean, clean matchup. I could see it happening. But if you take a look at some of the other, Gilbert Burns, I'm not sure that his style is ever going to beat Kamaru. Kamaru's good at being able to control if the fight's going to hit the ground. And, Gilbert's got power in his hands, but he does tend to, tail off as the fight goes on. He gets a little tired. The power starts to dwindle a little bit, and so it becomes average. Jeff Neal's a guy, good with his hands. I don't know if he's going to be able to stop Kamaru in the takedowns and stuff. So you can take a look at, the guys in there. He can beat, a lot of them. But do you want to put him in that position to where he gets back to a title fight? And that's the real question. And the UFC always sits and makes these decisions. They're going to sit down with Mick Maynard, Sean Shelby, Dana's going to sit down, Hunter's going to be there, and they're going to talk, and they're going to say, what do we have here? Where are we going to go with Kamaru Usman at this point? Do we want to try to, let him get back into a title fight? And it really, in my opinion, it depends on who's in that driver's seat as the champion of, do they?
Can I throw something out there?
Yeah, go. That's what we're here for, man.
Islam Makhachev.
Against Kamaru?
No, against Leon.
I was going to say, there's no, okay. I thought you meant against Kamaru. I go, why would Islam do that? That's the dumbest thing ever.
To put him up there against Leon. I mean, he's, I I mean, he tweeted about it yesterday. He's like,
Yeah,
hey.
well, because again, favorable matchups is
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
Hey.
Yeah.
I mean, is it favorable?
Styles
I mean,
make fights.
is it favorable though?
Stop.
Is it favorable?
Now you're being fucking.
Well, he
you're
just
being
he just got
very-
up like 7-8 times yesterday against Usman. I mean,
well,
you know,
maybe he could stop that attack, but
maybe.
that's a stylistic matchup that I believe is a hard one for Leon. That's going to be because first off,
Yeah.
and you saw Kamaru came out in the southpaw stance because he
did.
knew that was something that creates a little bit of problems for Leon, and I thought Leon handled it well though.
Yeah, that's true. I thought he did as well. That inside leg kick was money.
Yep.
I'm surprised. I really am surprised that he didn't get to the calf earlier because he was having some success with it.
Yeah.
He just didn't start until like the second or third round.
Well, he
And then-
started and then he stopped.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly. Got away from it. I'm surprised.
Yeah.
Though I thought it was a great fight. I thought what was at stake, what was on the line, not just the title, but the fact that it's the third fight. And there's a lot that goes through that fighter's mind. Like, man,
Yeah.
like this is it. Like whoever wins this kind of wins the whole thing. That kind of thing. It's in your mind. People say it's not, but it is. It's in there.
Yeah.
And I
What
thought
about the point
Leon.
deduction?
Oh, that's right.
Oh, that's right.
So we just had this discussion last week. Was it last week? I believe it was last week. When I
Yeah,
said,
it was-
hey, the guy grabbed the damn fence. It's cheating.
That was Davey Grant against
Yes.
Usankow.
But yes. I think that, I mean, John, you were telling me or crucifying me last week. You can't put them down in a position that they weren't in. And I'm like, well,
there's no rule for you to do that.
We never got to that position because he cheated. So, and I love Leon, and I love Kamaru also. But like, you grab the fence, it stopped you from being taken down.
Absolutely
You should
did.
start on the bottom. I'm sorry, you should. That's where I was trying to take you. That's obviously where I wanted the fight. That means that we should start where I wanted it because you grabbed the fence and cheated to stop me from getting you where I wanted it.
And I am not disagreeing with you in any fashion other than the referee can't do that. That's not within the rules.
Yeah.
You can only do what you can do. Look, let's go back so freaking long ago. UFC 30, I would say 36, 35. No, it wasn't 36. It was like 35. I don't know.
Who was it?
It was Matt Lindland against Merab Dvalishvili.
Matt Lindland, the king of cheating.
See, and it was just after this fight right here. It was after, so go 30. It wasn't 36 though. Maybe it was 37. Go 37. Go 37.
Let's see.
Yep, that's it. 37. So, anyways, in that, look at. I screwed up. I made a mistake in it where Lindland actually tapped, and then you say, "No, I didn't." I know. And sometimes you'll get those motions and stuff, and I couldn't restart them where they were at because at the time, the rule said if the referee interjects or interferes in the fight in any fashion, the fighters must be put back to their corners and start on their feet. That was the rule. And I knew that was the worst thing in the world I could do at the time, but I had to do it because that was the rule. I couldn't make up my own rule. I do think that, at times we need to always go back and look and things are happening. Maybe we can change that rule. But right now, Herb was going to make a mistake when he said, "This is a hard warning." I went, "No, you can't do that."
Yeah.
Okay, give him a hard warning. And then he said, "No," he went, took a point, and that was the right thing to do. It was the only way for you to come close to leveling the field. Now, the big difference, I say, is Kamaru was in the top position when you stopped the fight. It should have been put back in that exact position and not started on the feet. You have the ability to do that. That is within the rules, and that's where they should have gone because that's where Kamaru had put the fight.
Now, didn't Kamaru's corner ask to be put back in the same position or on the ground? And he said, no, they're like, I took the point. That's his penalty.
Yeah.
So do you have the option to put him back, or does he have, or should he have put him back?
You can put him back. A lot of people say, oh, no, it's double jeopardy. No, it's not. You're not double penalizing. No different than if I take a point on the fly, and I'll go back to, I think it's UFC 73. So UFC 73, you had Rashad Evans versus Tito Ortiz. It was in California, and Rashad is continuously trying to take Tito down, and Tito is starting to grab the fence, tell him don't do it. And Rashad finally gets to a point where he's going to definitely get Tito off of his feet, and boom, Tito grabs the fence. And because Rashad had worked so hard to try to get him there, and I didn't want to take him out of the position, I took it on the fly. That's a point. Boom. And I didn't stop the action. Now, it didn't work for Rashad because Tito was able to turn that position. But it was the right thing to do in that thing, because you don't want to take him out of a position that he just gained his advantage that he's worked really hard for. Mm-hmm. So you can take it on the fly, and that leaves him in that position.
Yeah, I feel like there's got to be some sort of rule adjustment. Like if I am trying to get you down and I lift and scoop, or if I have you basically off your feet and you grab the fence that stops it, we should start on the ground. Just the bottom line, we should start on the ground. Now, I'm not saying where. I'm not saying it should be in mount. I'm not saying it should be in the guard. I'm not saying
I've heard.
I don't.
The fighter gets his choice. Bullshit.
No,
you don't get your choice.
Okay. I said that last week. You've heard people say it. You want to know why you heard people say it? I said it last week, John.
I'm telling you, I look at it and now I think the referee should be given the ability to, instead of taking the point, don't take the point. Mm-hmm. You work to try to get him down. He grabbed the fence. That stopped the takedown. Automatically, we're going to put you down in a position that gives you an advantage, but doesn't make your opponent dangerous from the get-go. When we look at guard has a lot of advantages being on the bottom as far as submissions. Mm-hmm. In the guard, in the top position, you have advantages, but they're limited to really striking. You don't have submission. So let's put you in a position, half guard. Automatically, we go to half guard. We have an over-under with both guys and start the fight from that position. You didn't want to be on the ground. Now you're in a position on the ground. He can decide to try to go for a submission if you're in the top position, because there are things that you can go for. There's things the guy on the bottom can do, but you decided to grab it. We're going to put you there now where you decided to break a rule to keep yourself from. You're automatically going to go there. Not side control, not mount, not guard, half guard.
What about butterfly guard?
Nope. Because
there's no hooks.
The reason why is
you have a sweep, but there's no submissions from there. But go ahead.
Well, and the reason why I say not butterfly is you'll get guys that they like the butterfly guard. Okay, because this is not about helping the guy that's now on the bottom. You are the one that had the foul. So why am I going to give you butterflies, which gives you the ability to elevate somebody right away? Okay, right away we boom, my legs start coming up. I start off balancing your hips. It's too much for you. I'm not going to give you that. That's why I say let's go to half guard.
But see, like guys like me, like I'm a half guard guy. I've ran through the Lucas Leitch half guard system my whole life. Like I love it. Okay. So half guard to me is very like, okay, you put me there, I'll grab the fucking fence every time. Then.
Well, hold on.
No, I get it.
No, you're gonna be on the bottom points. And just sit there and say, oh, you know what, I'm good there. There are guys that are good with the half guard, but there's guys good at stopping it too.
That's true. That's true. I look at this fight. Look. The main event was fantastic. Leon, great confidence was there. Teddy Atlas even came out and said, "You know what? 80%, something like that.
30%.
30% better. They're 30% better than they were before they won the title. Now he won the title and
more confident.
He showed it. And
especially that first round.
Yeah,
first round he looked really good.
But Kamaru is. I still think that he beats a big portion of all those guys. I think the guy that he
agree.
has a hard time with is Rachmanov. The speed, Rachmanov's gonna give him a hard time because of the speed, the reach, the range,
and the
the
wrestling
ability. Yeah, just his athleticism right now, where he's at in his career, is going to give Kamaru some problems. Not that Kamaru can't get it done.
Nope.
But, John, I've got to do a separate note for him, for Kamaru Usman. His post-fight interview, how do you not love the guy?
Oh,
He's a fucking class act.
Classy as hell.
act. I love Kamaru Usman, man. Like, I
was with
awesome.
people. They go, "Why is he acting this way, saying this before the fight? Now listen to him." I go, "That's called selling. That's his job. And Kamaru." And I said, "Look, every time I've ever had any type of interaction with Kamaru Usman, he's a class act. He's super kind. He's a gentleman." I go, he plays the part. He knows what he's supposed to do to sell, to make people go, "Ooh, I either really want to watch him win or I want to watch him lose." I go, that's what puts money in Kamaru's pocket, and he's smart about how he does it.
His press conference that week was great. He's like, "Oh, your corner was begging for you. Come on, Rock. Come on, Rock." And I was like, oh, my God, you fucking went there. You went there. Holy shit, you're good. Yeah. Oh, man. "Come on, Rock. He's manhandling. Don't let him do it to you." Oh, Jesus. I was trying not to laugh out loud because, oh, geez, man.
He knows how to push buttons, man. He's good at it.
Oh, he's good at it. When you're that good, no matter what you say, people listen.
Yeah.
It's like John Jones, right? No matter how much he fucks up outside the cage, but when you get behind the mic in his fight week, people listen because they know that he's fucking good. He can back it up.
The one that I remember, and I shouldn't even get into this, when DC and John were going to fight the first time. Do you remember when he tried to make a bet with DC over takedowns? He goes, "I guarantee you, I'm going to take you down.
Mm-hmm.
Guarantee it." He goes, "In fact, I guarantee that you're just going to be, in the end, you're just going to be trying to take me down because of what I'm going to do to you." And I was like, wow, you're saying that to a dude that's an Olympic wrestler. You're crazy. Nope, he was totally right. Yeah. Look,
I saw a podcast. Shit, I think it's Courtney Hendo. You know Hendo from he's like a photographer down in Alliance, down in the San Diego area. Anyways, he does a podcast with somebody, and he brought up a good point that John Jones was a fighter who he didn't exploit people's weaknesses. He beat them in their strengths. Yeah. It was almost like he did it on purpose. Like, that didn't happen in this last heavyweight fight. He exploited his weakness, but majority of the time, he wanted to show you that he could beat you where you were good at. If you were good on the feet, fuck it, I'll stand with you. If you're good on the ground, I'll fucking take you down and destroy you there too. That's, I think, really a lot of top-level fighters, like even GSP, they would try to exploit your weakness. Once he got clipped by Matt Serra, he became a wrestler, and he just started fighting smart, started fighting to people's weaknesses. John, outside of this last fight, he really tried to beat people with their strengths. You gotta tip your hat to that. And he's been the longest reigning champion, if you think about it, right? He hasn't lost in what? And a lot of people don't even count that loss, but he's never lost that.
That was before his
12, 13 years or whatever it is, 14 years of him, being the champ or whatever it is. So crazy, right? Crazy. All right, look, we've rambled on off track.
Boy,
all this other shit.
Let's go to the fight that was the fight of the night. Really, if you're talking about, God damn, they were throwing hard, Josh. This is the ones where you need to be there to understand how hard they're throwing and what you're hearing. If you're Mark Goddard in there, you're seeing it and hearing it going, Jesus Christ, and someone's gonna go down here. Nope. But Justin Gaethje and Rafael Fiziev put on a show. They're perfect dance partners. It was one of those. In looking at this fight, and just gonna say, podcast David asked us for predictions and stuff, and I screwed that up, so that was my fault. But my prediction was Justin Gaethje's going to get the win, and he's going to get the win based upon experience against better competition. experience in that he is a guy that will take a shot to trade and land a shot. He's got really hard leg kicks that'll slow Fiziev down because the speed factor Fiziev is going to be a problem for him. And, man, I'll tell you what. Both guys went out there throwing so hard. Fiziev was way faster than Justin. Amazingly so as far as how he got in there. But Justin Gaethje, just tough as fucking nails, took shots to land shots. And in the end, he was just landing the more shots. The jab really worked for him, especially in the third round. He started opening up and just having your balance altered a little bit, getting popped like that. It just affects you in the fight. I thought both guys put on just an incredible performance, but Justin Gaethje comes away with the decision win.
Well, last week's show or in the midweek show, whatever, we said that, at least I said like, hey, Fiziev is going to win the first round. Just
he did.
Yeah, exactly. And I said if Gaethje can survive the first round and a half, and you saw it right then.
Yep.
Justin just started putting things a little bit better together. Started not so much taking chances, but just understanding where his opportunities lie.
Yes.
And he capitalized on them. I also think that very first leg kick by Justin Gaethje kind of set the tempo that, hey, I can kick hard too.
Yeah.
When he sat him to his butt. And I was like, oh, okay. Okay, very nicely done. And I've got up here and I've said some things about Justin a long time ago. Not in a negative way. It was more like the reality check was I don't want to see him keep taking damage the way he was taking. And I love, no matter how much you love, no matter how much people love watching fights, I love it too. But at some point, because I am a former fighter, I start caring a little bit for these guys, and I don't even know this kid. Yeah. Okay, I've seen him in passing. I've said hi to him at the old World Series of Fighting, all these things, but you can just tell he's a good kid.
Oh, yeah.
Person. Like I said, I've never hung out with him. I don't know. Yeah, he is. Yeah. I know. Yeah. I know.
This is what we do when we get this old. Everyone's a kid.
I've got so much damn respect for this guy, and you can just tell the way when the interview happened. I think it was Dana White a long time ago during the COVID thing when he fought Habib, because look, Dana says all these other guys that fight for the title, I want my guys on the card, I want this person to be here, I want this. He's like, Justin just said one thing, I want my parents to be there.
Yep.
And I was like, oh shit. Like, that just lets you know that he's an amazing person. He cares about his family, doesn't matter what it is. He fights his ass off every single time he's in there. But
he did fight smarter.
I was getting to that. I was getting to that. No, it's all right. I was getting to that because that's when I was talking about. I started worrying about him. Like, hey, this is not the way. Like, you can't keep fighting this way and have a long career. And I know he commented like a long time ago almost. He's like, man, he said something like, oh, okay, derp, whatever it was. He said something, I can't remember what it was, but you could tell it was kind of bothering him. Or he said something like, yeah, well, whatever. But then I saw this performance, and I saw his fight with Michael Chandler. He's turned the corner. He's not just a punching bag. He's not a guy who's I'm going to take one. I'll take three to give you one because I know I've got power and I've got a chin. No, this was very tactically done by his coach and by him. He fought a very smart fight. He just had to weather that storm in that first round, John, and it was hard to weather because the speed was such a big deal. And just, you could tell there, when someone's having a hard time with the speed, they cover their head and they put their head down and just kind of wing an overhand right or overhand left and hope you don't get hit on the way out.
Take a step forward and throw it. That's it.
But then he got through that, and Fiziev didn't slow down, but he just didn't have as much output with the same type of confidence to throw it. Like, he was throwing 1, 2, whereas in the first round he was throwing 3s and 4s.
Yeah.
And that was getting a little scary if you're Justin Gaethje. He fought smart. He fought a great fight. My only knock on him, if I was going to say anything, is that, bro, you got wrestling.
He did.
He did. Stop.
In the last 5 seconds.
I love what he said. I wish all the critics just shut the fuck up. No, I fucking loved it when he said that. But I've said the same thing about Michael Chandler. I said, hey, they've got the wrestling, they've got the capability.
You got to use where your talent lies.
But I've heard stories through his gym, people that train with him that say, hey, he never trains his wrestling. He never trains his jiu-jitsu. Like he just trains a lot of the sparrings, the mitts, the bag, and but he doesn't really train his wrestling or his jiu-jitsu. And that show, and his losses have come, from Khabib with the wrestling. Once he got taken down, it was the control, the dominant. Now I know Khabib does that to everybody, and the same thing with Charles. Charles, I know, dropped him, sat him, but what it was. But then, he got to the neck, and there was no defense.
When you get hurt,
yeah, it is different.
Easy to submit no matter who you are.
But I look at him and his career, and I'm a huge fan. And I just, like I said, early in his career, I was more concerned for him and his health. And I love watching him fight. I want him to have a long career, and I loved seeing him make his runs at the title. I think he's got another title run in him. And at the very end, when he said, "I'm not going to be around much longer," it really made me think about, man, he has a goal. He has something in his mind right now that he sees. I don't know if that means like helping other people train. I don't know if that means owning businesses. I don't know what that means. But to me, he's got something else already out there that he's looking and eyeballing at, which it looks like he's delivered such great performances for us all across the board. And I love watching him fight. And I'd like to see him get that another run. And he's a fantastic fighter. He's obviously a great person. So, but I thought last night was a great performance by him in terms of his fighting smart. And this is what I was talking about for years. I would love to see him do. Now maybe he can call up Michael Chandler and get him to start fighting the same way.
We're gonna find out. But I thought just a fantastic performance, fantastic fight, and the one thing I want to say, Fiziev, this does not drop him down at all. In fact, I think it builds him up. I think Fiziev he's going to learn from this fight. He's going to learn as far as, hey, when I have a guy doing this, I need to maintain those combinations that I was being successful with. Yes, I'm getting hit, so let me figure out where I circle, because the one thing that I will give, Fiziev brings his head in on the center line a lot. He doesn't take it off when he's coming forward. He brings it on the center. So it's little adjustments. We're talking 2 inches, left or right, is going to make a big difference in whether he receives that counter shot or not. But he's going to be a factor. His speed is so good, and the power that he has, the way that he attacks his opponent. I love that, he was. Who do you see marching Justin Gaethje down? Come on, man. Dude, he was marching him down at times. I was like, God damn, man. Just a fantastic performance by a guy really going after the fight. But you know what? I think it was this is where experience comes in, and having those fights under your belt where you've had these situations and you now have adjusted and you know how to turn the corner on this. You know how to make that momentum shift happen. He's going to have that in his back pocket now, and it's going to help him in the future.
Yeah. I mean, Dave, pull up the lightweights for us, please. If I look at that weight class, it's a dog weight class, man. Those are all tough fights, no matter who you mix in there with. Those are all tough fights. But, I mean, outside of, if I see Fiziev, I know that Chandler is going to be probably matched up against Conor. But that would have been a fun fight, too, Chandler and Fiziev. But, I mean, you look at Gamrot, Sarukian, Dos Anjos. I mean, that might be a good fight right there. Dos Anjos and Fiziev. That might be a good fight.
Absolutely. Any of those. And if I'm going to be honest, and I look at that one, obviously Gamrot's got great wrestling, but that's a tough fight for Gamrot.
Yeah, it is.
He's not an easy takedown, so the speed is going to be a problem. The one that matches up the best with him is Sarukian. He's fast, he's young, and he's got great wrestling.
Well, they're both coming off. Isn't Jalen Turner coming off a loss?
Yep.
Him and Jalen Turner. So one of them gets a win. That'd be a great fight.
That's a good matchup.
You get the reach and the range and the kickboxing of Jalen Turner, and you've got the power and the speed of Fiziev. Just a dog, and that'd be a great fight. Get one of them a win.
Yep.
Nice. All right, next. I loved at the end when he goes, for all his, I got my takedown. All you guys shut the fuck up. That's fucking great.
That's awesome.
And he's like, not you, DC, not you.
Yeah,
Just
not you.
the critics. And I'm like, oh man, I love Gaethje.
Yeah, Gunnar Nelson going up against Brian Barberena. Obviously, this is a easy. You know, Gunnar Nelson's going to be looking for the takedown, looking for the submissions. You know that Brian's going to be looking to keep it on his feet. And for what I'd say a good 3 minutes, Brian was able to, but you could see where he was hesitant in throwing his hands the way he normally does, going after someone because he did not want to end up underneath Gunnar Nelson, and that happened. And the inevitable happened. Gunnar's that good, on the ground, where Brian, that's just not one of his strong suits. He started out with, guys in the MMA lab in Arizona, and where, he was grappling some and everything getting better, but he's really turned into more of he's a stand-up guy, stand-up brawler. He's got a good chin, goes after people, but when you're facing someone of Gunnar Nelson's ability on the ground, if you're not high level, you're going to have problems.
The sport's hit a stage, John, where if you're not really good at the one thing, like how you've got Izzy. Izzy's fantastic at his striking. Pereira, very good at the striking. You've got Gamrot, fantastic wrestler. Sarugi, you got Islamic. You have these guys that are really good in one area that it makes the other fighter hesitant to even take a chance. Those guys can be threatened. Like, that's when you don't have to be as well-rounded. But the sport's gotten to the point where you have to be extremely well-rounded everywhere. And Barberena he's not great on the ground. I mean, once he hits there, he seems like he's a little lost.
That's his weakness.
Yeah, and if you're not going to be Izzy level of kickboxing, then you're not really giving many people to fear much. I'm sure maybe you've got boxing, maybe you've got the cardio, maybe you've got the pressure. You're a dog in there. You can take a shot, give a shot. You've got to be good all the way around. And he lacks that grappling once the fight hits the ground, and Gunnar knew that. Gunnar exploited it, and once the fight hit the ground, he worked his way to mount, and once he got to mount, it was, hey, I got 10 seconds left. Let me try to hit this arm bar, and sure enough, he got it.
Yep.
And so it really
beautifully done.
I wish Gunnar would fight more because he's got a big time name. Especially over in the UK, everyone seemed to love him. When he walked out, it was like the crowd was on fire, electric for him. So, but hey, John, look, we've been feeding this to people for I don't know how long though. But before we get started into the next fight, it really comes down to we joined and partnered up with OnlyFans. So onlyfans.com/WayneIn. Join us, subscribe to us over there. It is free, you guys. It is free. So join us over there. We're doing extra content over there for you guys. We're just really trying to get more athletes on this platform. We're trying to shake the stigma of what it is, what it's developed into over there at OnlyFans. Not that it's going to stop over there, but we're not going to be in that position to be doing it. But John, you don't want to see John with his big old tips and nipples and stuff hanging out. But
hey, if it'll get you over there, I'll rub a nipple.
So head on over, subscribe to us over there. Like I said, it's free. We're not charging. We're going to put just building up the clientele right now. But really what it comes down to is we're getting more athletes on there. If you've seen MVP on there, you'll be seeing Chris Cyborg on there. You've got
Charles
AJ
Oliveira.
McKee. You got Charles Oliveira. They're working on a bunch of new fighters as well as we speak. They understand that the fighters are kind of the ones that will help build the platform, not just their platform, but also to help take care of the fighters that that need the money. Every fighter needs the money. That's really what it comes down to. It gives an opportunity to make some more money, put out some more content, and connect a little bit more with your fans. And that's kind of where we're at right now. We're trying to connect more with you guys. We are only taking our fan questions from our OnlyFans page. So head on over there, subscribe to us. Like I said, it's free. You guys, there'll be I think there's like a billboard up over there where you can submit fan questions. And every time we do a Q&A, we'll be taking fan questions from there and answering them on our YouTube channel or on our podcast. So, but make sure you guys head over there. We're going to start trying to do a live thing over there at least once or twice a month on the onlyfans.com/Wayne.
As long as lightning doesn't strike.
As long as lightning doesn't strike. You know what they say about lightning, man? It never strikes twice in the same spot.
Woo!
Ooh, we'll see, though. We'll see. All right, well, hey, let's get into the next fight. Jennifer Maia versus Casey O'Neill. What you got?
Wow. I mean, and again, here comes the difference of experience. Jennifer Maia, basically 30 fights into her career. Casey O'Neill, 10 fights into her career. The experience factor was huge because Casey did not understand how to change her style to take care of what Jennifer Maia was doing. She kept coming in with the same approach. It was the same setup. And you look and you go, you got to change. You got to set this up different. Take a different approach. Look at your footwork. You're coming straight, angling at her when you do. And she is pop and circling out. And Jennifer Maia just showed what a veteran fighter will do to a very good but lacking in experience young fighter when given the opportunity. This is what happens. She was coming forward the whole time. She was, aggressive, all that stuff. I don't care how aggressive you are. When someone's putting shots on you, it just turns the tables. And Jennifer walked away with a really nice win.
What I saw, John, was Casey O'Neill thought in her head and throughout her whole camp, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to stuff her takedowns. I'm going to out kickbox her. I'm going to piece her up. And when Jennifer Maia came out and had better boxing, cleaner strikes, and landed the harder shots on the feet,
She didn't know how to change it.
She didn't know what to do. She's like, wait, what's going on right now? Like, I thought my kicks were going to be the difference. I thought my hands were going to be the difference. I thought I'd be able to outstrike her. And Jennifer Maia is like, I don't need to take you down. I'm outboxing you. I'm hitting you with clean shots. I'm snapping your head back like a Pez dispenser.
Yep.
Like, I don't need to waste the energy. And she looked fantastic on the feet. I mean, Casey O'Neill made Jennifer Maia look like fucking Floyd Mayweather out there at times.
Boom. That's exactly it.
I was like, what is going on? Like, I thought Casey O'Neill was going to come out, shine, and I thought she was going to win this fight. I thought she'd be able to stuff some takedowns, use the kicks to keep her at range, make her fight like a sloppy fight. I was way wrong. I was way wrong. I mean, Jennifer Maia fought a fucking awesome fight. Great job. The experience definitely paid through. But she's been working on her boxing. She's not one-dimensional. She's not just wrestling out there, grappling out there, trying to get this fight to the ground. She looked fantastic. She looked fantastic. Good on her.
Did. Great performance by Jennifer. And again, this is experience. This is what a veteran fighter does when put against someone young with not a ton of experience, but very good. Hey, you've got to make it. You got to make it difficult on them. You've got to, give them things that they're not going to be able to fix in this fight. She can go back now to the drawing board and learn how to fix it. But it was a great performance by Jennifer. Marvin Vettori against Roman Dolidze. Talk to me, baby.
Am I wrong? But did you have it scored that way?
No, I didn't. But
did you have Dolidze winning?
I did. 29-28.
So did I. I feel like they fucked it up, especially when I heard 30-27.
Oh, dude, I was like, are you...
I was like, what fucking fight were you watching?
Man.
There's no way you can tell me that Dolidze lost the first round. There's no fucking way he lost the first round. When I heard 30-27, I'm like, oh, Dolidze's got this. And I didn't think Dolidze won... I don't think he won the second. I can't remember which. Yeah, he didn't win the second. I don't think. Yeah, I think it was the second. But I thought he won the fight. Yeah, and I like Marvin a lot. And
he took a lot of shots.
Yeah, he did.
Ooh.
Yeah, he took some big shots. But anyways, to get past the scoring and the fuck up in that situation.
Tell me, how in the world, if you're Roman Dolidze, do you not take this fight to the ground somewhere within these 3 rounds?
You know what happens, John, right? Guys fall in love with their power.
God.
They realize that they've got power. They love it. They love the feeling of it. It seems like it's easier. But what happens when you chase that knockout? You've seen it, I'm sure, thousands of times inside that damn cage. You're like, oh, this guy loves himself. He loves the power. He's addicted to the knockout, and he chases it. Ends up fighting a fucking fight that could have got him out of there in a round and a half. Instead, he's fighting 3 to 5 rounds every single time because he's chasing the knockout. But I thought he fought well. Marvin took some big shots in the first, and in the second he came back and answered. And I thought he won the second slim, but I thought he won the second. But if you look at Dolidze, right, like he didn't lose any stock. just outside of not fighting smart, he could have got the win. I think had he got threatened a takedown or two here and there. I thought he did.
He showed
win,
he's
to
right
be
there.
honest. He is. Absolutely. He seems and strikes me as one of those guys that every time you collide bodies with him or anytime you guys hit arms or anything, it fucking hurts you more than him. Like,
Yeah.
you know those guys that just like you bump into them like, damn, like, that hurt.
Yoel Romero like.
Yeah, exactly. That you hit it right on the head. Exactly like Yoel Romero. Yeah. So funny when you meet Yoel, like, how are you so nice? Just
dude.
dangerous. So fucking good.
You look at him, you go, man, you're one of the nicest, guys.
Oh,
And you're just scary.
yeah.
I watch you and it's like, you're just, how did God put you together different? It's just amazing.
Yep. Meanwhile,
But-
the rest of us are over here getting old and shit, and he's still in a
Thank you very much.
28-year-old body.
Yeah,
It's crazy.
that's it.
All right, next.
Jack Shore coming out against Amir Khani. It went exactly the way I kind of thought. It's going to start off with Amir Khani looking for takedowns and working hard, and if he doesn't get them, he starts to fall off a little bit. Jack Shore getting the rear naked choke. It was well done, tight. Look, Jack Shore at featherweight, he found a spot because at bantamweight he was losing way too much weight. It would affect his performances. He's got the skills and the strength to be in the featherweights. He's got the frame. This is a great place for him.
Yeah, I think he's got to put a little bit more muscle on because when you get up into those top guys,
Sure.
this is their life. They're lifting, they're working out. This is their job. This is their life. They're there to be the best. And I know that he seemed like he's putting the work in. I think at featherweight, it'll be good for him.
Yeah.
So, he's got I think if he puts on a little bit more muscle because he's got the output.
Oh yeah.
And he's got a good chin. And
Yep.
so I'm looking forward to seeing what he can do. Can you pull up the lightweight division?
He's got the right attitude.
Sorry, featherweight.
Lightweight.
Sorry,
Featherweight, yeah.
Sorry, my bad. Featherweight. If I'm looking at that division, I don't think he's not quite ready for the guys that are there right now. Maybe Alex Caceres.
I think he's getting close.
Yeah, he's
You
getting
got
close there.
Again, featherweights are stacked.
The
Bantamweights and
murderers, bro.
featherweights, man, you're just looking at a bunch of
Murderers,
guys and you
bro.
go, damn.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I
He's
look
coming.
at. I mean, like if you were to match him up against like Dan Ige, but Dan Ige is a tough fight for anybody.
Danny is not a guy that you go, oh, that's an easy fight.
No,
Danny Ige is,
It's
you're
never.
coming with someone that's just gonna
Yeah.
keep coming at you. So,
Yeah,
but you got to
You
look
go,
and say,
Yusuf Sodiq Yusuf is a good one too.
super athletic, super explosive. Got it all. I mean, there's just no one easy, but this is that's the
Well,
the strength of the UFC is the depth of the UFC.
yeah.
It's
Well,
that
the
it doesn't
problem
matter
is,
if
right,
it's
is-
1 or 15, they're tough.
Well, I could move him all the way up to probably Korean Zombie, and he may have a good fight. But then after, if he does win that, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Like he's got
There you
nowhere
go.
else to go right now with the skill
That's right.
level that he has. He hasn't quite fully matured into those upper guys. Like if you beat him, now you're stuck fighting guys like Calvin Kattar,
Well-
Topuria.
We put him against Kige Chikadze,
Yeah,
and you look at that and you go, he's got the ability to take him down and possibly
Mm-hmm.
create problems for him on the ground. Chikadze's got the ability to light him up on the feet too.
yeah.
And so could be good, maybe not.
True.
But again, this is why that the bantamweights and featherweights in the UFC stacked,
Yep.
just
Yep.
stacked.
Next. What do you got?
We had Chris Duncan against Omar Morales, close, tight fight. But I want to talk about Yanal Ashmaz. I think they call it Ashmaz.
Okay.
Against Sam Peterson. Boy, you take a look at a contrast in, length and style and everything, and Sam Patterson was going to try to keep him on the outside. And as I'm watching it, I go, Ashmaz is just waiting. He's looking for that moment that he can close that distance, and he's going to take explosive moments. And when he made that explosive moment, that was nasty. And
Yeah.
Patterson took some big shots. He was hurt right away. But,
He was still wrestling with the referee.
he was fighting a minute after.
Yeah, at least a minute after. I mean,
And this is, part of, goddamn, one of the things that we teach in, officiating is, hey, if you have someone that is knocked out, and that dude was knocked out a couple times, basically. You have someone that's knocked out, bring their second in to when that guy is able to when someone is surrounded by people they don't really know. He's surrounded by doctors. He's got the referee. He's got inspectors. You got to have him hear a voice that he recognizes. It will help calm him down because all he knows is this is foreign to me and I'm fighting. And he has no idea what he's doing. Yeah. It's just automatic. And you got to bring in that voice that's he's going to tune into, he'll recognize, and he'll stop. But you got to get that person there. And a lot of times commissions I don't want him there. No, you need the person there, because then you have doctors fighting with fighters. It's like, oh my God, you're making this worse. You're creating your own problem. A guy that you used to work out with, Noad Lahat.
Yeah.
Remember Noad?
Yeah.
He got knocked out in the UFC so bad. He was out. And, the doctors are over, and he came back. He was fighting, and they're trying to hold him. And it's like, the referee wasn't there at that point. It's like, oh, my God. Get his corner to him so he can hear that voice. But
the flying knee.
Yep.
I think it was the flying knee. Yeah.
It was.
Yep. Anybody else on here you want to talk about?
I want to say Mokaev, beautiful submission. That kid's going to be – he's coming. He's coming, dude. And Jake Hadley. Look.
Well, Jake Hadley's coming for him.
Well, I'll tell you. Coming from the same place, basically. But Jake Hadley looked great, too. So, again, we talked about it. I mean, the Jake Hadley fight was a catch weight, but the flyweights, man, they're going to have some great matchups coming up. There's a lot of talent that's really on the rise, and the UFC's flyweights are really starting to look good. It's really an interesting division.
Yeah. And then the other fight was Jai Herbert and Klein. Good fight, good kickboxing fight back and forth, but he grabbed the fence. Was it the fence? It was the fence grab, right? I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it was the fence grab. Yeah. Took the point, and that cost him. That cost him his win money.
It did.
I mean, you're going to start, I think, because of like all the rule breaks and all this other stuff, people are like, oh, yeah, how many times can I grab the fence? How many times can I do this? People are trying to get away with it now. And not that he did it on purpose. I mean,
a lot of times, it's people get all upset. There's times when, you're falling and you're moving and your hand, goes out for a balance point and you hit that thing. It's automatic. Your fingers kind of, clasp on as soon as it touches because you're trying to stop a motion. People get crazy about, every time. You can't look at things. No. Not everything is the same as everything else. But in this situation, it was called for.
All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap up our UFC talk. What is this, 286?
286, baby.
Jeez, UFC 286. All right, Dave, what else? You got some news for us, right, Dave?
Yep.
This is where Dave wants to talk about Colby, Conor.
Oh, yeah, this is Dave's moment right here.
This is his moment
right
here.
Loves this stuff.
This is his moment. I love it. Go ahead. Go ahead, buddy.
We'll start with this first one. Conor McGregor was on.
Conor McGregor? Okay, that guy
was on Ariel Helwani's show this week.
Yes, he was.
Who?
He showed up on the MMA Hour and
who
talked about a few things.
The Who show?
I know. I knew what you were saying.
Never heard of this. I've never heard of this guy.
Some journalist show.
Is he a journalist though? Is he?
He was on that.
He is.
Come on.
He is.
It's a fanboy show.
He is.
Connor's fanboy interviewed him this week about talked about a few things. First thing is Conor saying that he only has 2 fights left on his UFC contract. And in contrast to people like Ngannou, Nate Diaz, who all bounced from the UFC, Conor had some nice things to say. So here's the quote from Conor, and then I'll let you guys react to it. Conor says, "For me, the UFC is the pinnacle. It's the company I love. It's the company I wish to be with for the rest of my career. So I've got 2 fights left in my contract, and I hope we can continue. I want to be in the UFC. That's my catalog. Is the UFC. My highlight reel is in the UFC. Let's see what happens. I hope they feel the same. I love the company dearly. It's a company that's changed my life. It's given me so much and helped me in my situations in life. The UFC is my company.
I mean, I think he's making a play for trying to buy in as a partner, or trying to do something along the lines of trying to be an investor into the company in the long run. It'd be smart on his part.
Look, everything he said no. Everything he said, everything's about value, brother. You know that. And how much value do you bring in the end? Because that moment of time is gone. Let's be honest. It's gone.
I think he's got enough money to help try and be. He could probably try to join in.
Really, you think that IMG needs his
need
money?
The money. I'm just
no, but don't need it.
Having him to continue to be
okay. Sometimes that's a good thing
for them.
Sometimes that's a good thing.
Bad.
Sometimes it's not.
Yeah.
Okay.
No, I get it.
This is my point. Like Conor saying everything he's saying there, I agree with him. Totally agree with him. But the UFC, they treat you a little bit different than they treat those other guys. Oh, so there's a difference. And that's fine. You've created that difference. Good for you. Fantastic. But you can't sit there and this is not apples to apples, oranges to oranges. It's completely different. And so those guys had a reason for leaving. You have a reason for staying, and I think you should. There's not a doubt in my mind you should stay where you're at. And, but don't get on other guys and say, oh, they should have, taken the same path I want to take, because he's saying, he doesn't know if, after his contract, if they want to continue with him, they're going to want to continue with him. Yeah. And he deserves it because he is good for the company as a whole. But you can't compare where Conor's at and Ngannou's at. Can't compare them. Different.
No, I agree. I don't have anything to say. I mean, okay. He's been part of the company that's helped make them a lot of money. They'd be foolish not to try to keep him as an ambassador, or at least I wouldn't say give him a stake or a share in the company. But I'm sure he'd be willing to invest if he wanted to invest $100 million into it. I'm sure that they would. But you don't think so? Yeah.
They might give him. They might let him. They might let him invest. A little bit. But when you're that company and you're making that kind of money right now,
yeah,
you're going why? There you go.
Well, they kind of do need him. Like right now, there's a little bit of a changing, right? You lost your heavyweight. Sure, you've got John, but John's 35, 36. He ain't gonna be around forever. John Jones. The other stars. There's no other Conor McGregors and Habibs coming around the corner right now. And I love, there's some good fighters that are there. Islam's being one of my boy. Leon is a good friend. I mean, we see him all the time. We go to the UK. Great fighters. They don't quite have the it factor just yet.
Okay. All right. Then I want you to answer me some questions here. Okay. I'll just ask you a couple things. Do you remember when you first came into the UFC, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
back in 1940.
So who was the big star back then?
BJ Penn.
BJ Penn? Okay, at lightweight?
BJ Penn.
Okay.
Well, no, he fought. That was my first. No, that was my second fight. BJ Penn beat Matt Hughes the next fight.
Yeah,
he was kind of the big star at the time. Yeah.
Okay.
But who else?
So it was lightweight. Who else was? Chuck, Randy.
Chuck, Tito was hit or miss, man. But Chuck and Randy.
Okay. And were there guys that took their place?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, there is.
And it always it's part of the sport. Always. There will be someone that takes the place of every person. Everybody is replaceable.
No. John, this goes in life.
Yes.
When I hear these people, like when Elon bought Twitter, and I hear all these people, and I have friends that used to work at Twitter, they don't work there anymore. I was laughing there. Just to hear them vent, and I was like, "You guys don't have to work there." You know what I mean? Like you don't have to work there, and they're like, "Oh, the company's not going to be run." Da 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 da.
The company's going to fail.
it's gonna do
without
this
me.
And but the thing is, there's always somebody there to replace you. I get that, but that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the star power of which Conor brings, Khabib brings, guys that have been there, GSP.
They absolutely bring a star power. But GSP is where right now?
Fucking living in this probably big ass mansion, just chilling.
But
chilling, probably.
Again, at one point in time, he was the UFC's shining star.
Yep.
And he's gone.
No, I get it.
And it just marches on. And it's exactly what you're saying. I don't care who you are. Mm-hmm. The moment you think you're irreplaceable is the moment you just made a mistake.
Yep.
Everybody is replaceable. Now, the person that replaces you might not be quite as good, but they're going to be good. And they're going to be able to replace you.
Yeah. What you have to remember is that, for me, I feel like timing is everything, right? Like, Colby came kind of at the wrong time. Colby, he met his nemesis with Kamaru, and Kamaru just had his number. He came at the wrong time. Like, he probably would have been the next, almost Conor had Kamaru not been there, because he's able to beat everyone else in that division as of now or as of before. But Kamaru is his nemesis. But my talk is these fighters that are coming up don't quite have that star power that Conor had, or that BJ had, or that Chuck had, the mohawk, the tattoo on the head, those type of things. But since having this conversation, not just this conversation, but all in the past, being part of seeing the growth. I mean, shit, I got signed at UFC 32 or something like that, 35, whatever it was. To see the amount of money that they can spend now in their PR machine is just insane. They can, you gotta remember, at some point, this is how crazy it is. At some point, people were trying to, the UFC media or whatever it was, talking about that Ronda Rousey could box with Floyd Mayweather.
Oh my God.
And people were believing it.
Oh, that's true.
They were believing it. And I was like,
you lost your mind.
Lost your mind? But there was people that believed it, John. That lets you know how much money they spend on press, on getting the word out there that so-and-so is that good. They can make anybody a star. Their PR machine is fucking, it's just phenomenal. A bulldozer. It's phenomenal. It's the best in the business.
It's a tsunami.
Exactly. That's a great analogy there. It just runs right through you, man.
Just keeps on running.
Yeah, it just and no matter who comes in,
which you got to give them credit for, because that's not easy.
Absolutely. No, it's not. No, but when you hit the level at which they're at now, after all the years of them struggling to get people to recognize their fighters and be around and all these other things, they've done a great job. And now, that's when people tell me that fighters should be making boxer money, I'm like, you know what? You want to keep the sport going where it is. I would love to see fighters make boxers money. But then you wouldn't have all these undercards. Like guys like Jack Shore, we'd never hear about this kid. Especially after you get one loss. If I'm putting millions and millions into you, and once you lose one time, you see it in boxing, okay, they're not as good as we thought. They're gone. They're pretty much, and it's rare you get them to come back. They kind of linger around in that as long as they're winning, but they're never who they were. I'm sorry, but when guys lose in MMA, like guys like Justin Gaethje,
Fiziev.
Losing MMA, but then Fiziev, we're going to see them again. And now I'm a fan. I'm a huge fan.
And they're actually moving up.
And I'm a fan, which is I'm now addicted to watching this guy fight, and the way he fucking fights this is what I love about our sport. Boxing, once that guy, no matter how great a fight it was, knocked down, drag out, you never see that guy again. And if you do, it's like a fight that you really don't care about. It's like he's fighting some chump down the road and he gets his win, and now he's trying to make his way back. They never fight the top guys. It's so rare to see them fight the top guys. I'm sorry, but we're going to see Fiziev fight another top 10 guy here coming up. Yeah. You can't say that about boxing. No matter how, and as much as I'd like to see the fighters make as much money as the boxers do, I like to see these young guys have an opportunity to make a lot of money, which a lot of money could be anywhere between, $150,000 all the way up to $500,000, whatever it is. But they're making money and living a career. They're making a career out of themselves for the next however long. The PR machine is a tsunami. It will run through you, make you believe that Ronda Rousey can box with Floyd Mayweather. That's how big they are. That's how big they are. They will make a star out of somebody. They will.
Yep. There you go. That's it. All right,
Next.
Dave. Next.
All right, Conor also confirming that he and Chandler will.
Dude, are you on a
meet at
Conor
170.
fix?
He is. He is.
Well,
He's a fucking.
when
He's a nut
Conor
rider.
comes out and does an interview.
Go ahead.
yo,
Come on.
Okay.
Come on.
So,
Come on.
so
What did he say? No.
all
What did he
right.
say? Connor said what?
he said he's going to fight Chandler at 170 for sure. There was speculation that it would be at 55. Dana, I think.
No,
said
there was
55
not.
At one point.
Who
Well, Dana
said-
did say 55. At
Dana
one
said
point.
55.
Yeah, and
Dana said
didn't
55.
have Dana didn't have a scale like Conor did. Okay, and Conor knew exactly where he was at. He was like, "No way!" Did you see how thick Conor was,
Yeah,
even at the damn John Jones Gone fight? Come on, there's no way he's going to go to 55.
Yeah. What's your take on him still not being in the USADA testing pool?
Bullshit. If you're gonna, and this is where
So weird to me.
again, this comes back to what we just talked about. The rules are not the same for everyone because there is the USADA testing pool, and you can say what they want. You're supposed to be in that pool. Henry Cejudo, who is going to be fighting Aljamain, has been in that pool now for how long? Coming up on 6 months, because he's got to be in it and be clean for those 6 months before he can compete. That's the way it's supposed to be. Now, we saw in the past, Brock Lesnar did not do that. And what happened?
They got sued by Mark Hunt.
And he was caught because he actually tested for a prohibited substance in that fight, right? So not only did they not follow the protocol, they allowed this exemption and got burned by it. Now you have where we're talking about, look, you can't do this and look like, oh, this is a true program. You start to do exceptions, and you're going to do an exception for Conor here because Conor was saying, oh, we've already talked to him stuff. You saw it come out. We haven't talked. Okay. So it's right away. You go, okay, there it is. So who's talking? I'm sure Conor's talking, but he's talking to people inside of the UFC. He's talking to Jeff Nowitzki. Okay. And Jeff is, talking to him about, oh, we'll do this, we'll do that. And as soon as you start making exceptions, you're blowing it out of the water. You're making the whole program invalid. You can't do this. It is clear that Conor has gained a ton of weight. How he did that? Okay. I'm not saying it. If you have a injury like he did, is, prohibited substance is something that you want to take to help that healing process. I'm sure his doctors gave him that stuff. I'm not saying that he did it on the side without him. They gave him that stuff to help him with the recovery and to let things heal in a quicker and better fashion. But there comes that point you've got to get off of everything. And it's got to be out of your system long enough for you to not have a competitive advantage. And right now, with what he's saying and what they're saying, they're at two different places as far as what is really occurring here.
John, how many surgeries have you had?
Really?
Yeah. How many surgeries have you had?
Probably 15.
Okay, so I've had
12
probably
to 15 or something.
I've had close to probably, I'd say about the same. I'd say 10 to 12, somewhere in there. All my surgeries, I have a plate in my ankle with 9 screws. I've had pins in my thumbs and my wrist. I've had surgeries, throughout my back and all these other things. My knees several times, but just more meniscus, more of that stuff. But I have never, ever been prescribed steroids.
Well, yeah.
No, look,
I'm trying to think.
I get it at your age. I get it at your age.
Yeah.
But throughout my fighting career, they never said, "Hey, you should probably get on this to help build more muscle around there." They never.
That's true. That's true. I haven't. No.
And my doctor was Dr. King. And everyone knows, if anyone knows who Dr. King is, Dr. King was the on-field physician for the 49ers, the Raiders, the A's, and the fucking Giants. all 4 Bay Area teams, he was the on-field physician for. He's done surgeries on Jerry Rice, Joe Montana, Steve Young, all these fucking premier athletes. He never once said, hey, you should probably get on this. Yeah. You're an athlete. So
good point. Good point.
I mean, literally, like, he was the guy that said, hey, do you want Oxy? Do you want Vicodin, or do you want higher?
Yeah, but they'll give you that
ibuprofen?
crap.
No. But no, he asked me though, do you want a higher dose of ibuprofen? Because he knew that I was an athlete, and he said, look, I asked him because a lot of athletes say, I don't want the Oxy, I don't want the Vicodin, I'll take the ibuprofen, and I'll do it in a little bit higher dose, which is like 500 or 600 milligrams, versus taking the Oxy and the Vicodin. I never took the Oxy or the Vicodin, never. Because when I had my very first knee surgery where I broke my kneecap in half, I got screws that go through my kneecap, and I took Oxy, and I could see that this stuff is not fucking good for you. Couldn't shit for like fucking 2 weeks. Just after that, I never took it again. Never took it again. Fuck, it's the worst.
I did the same thing off of an ACL replacement.
Yeah.
ACL replacement. I took Vicodin for the first time, and I was like,
this is horrible, man.
No, that's it. One pill. That was it. Done.
No.
I was so weak.
Yeah,
Josh, you know, and I know you. We can drink some whiskey. Vicodin fucked me up.
Oh yeah.
I don't like it.
I went through my first knee surgery, and I had like stitches and shit like that, but I had never had a full surgery, and I had a knee surgery, and man, I went through a whole bottle of Vicodin in like a fucking week, Oxy in like a week, and Oxy had just come out, and I realized after, I was like, nope, I don't need this shit anymore. I can't do it. Like I couldn't take a shit. It was like I felt bloated. I felt all. I just was horrible. It was a horrible feeling, and I never wanted to feel that way again. It was disgusting. Yep. So I never took it again. And every time I went in for surgeries, they would always try to prescribe me. I was like, nah. I said, like, do you have anything that doesn't have this, like Vicodin or like, I don't want these. And they're like, yeah, we can do like a higher dose of ibuprofen. And you gotta deal with that pain for the first couple days. It's fucking excruciating, especially on my ankle. Oh, so painful, so painful. But it's a lot better than having that feeling of, and then also too, the feeling of, that this shit is super addictive. And I've said this to everybody that I could preach to about athletes, all athletes. If you're a good athlete, you have an addictive personality. So stay away from that type of shit. That shit is addictive. Like Oxys, Vicodins, all the other shit, all these pharmaceutical shit. Stay away from
opioid.
It. You mentally have an addictive personality, because you wouldn't be as good as you are as an athlete if you didn't have an addictive personality. You have to be good. You've got to love the grind. You've got to be out there doing all that extra work because you're addicted to that thing. Well, your addictive personality can now be taken over by this other addiction. So stay away from that shit, man.
True.
All right, next.
All right, we'll wrap up on Aljo saying that he'd be open to fighting Merab if the UFC would offer up some NFL money.
There it goes, John. All
right, this all comes down. Like, I'm not saying anything wrong with anything Aljamain is saying here. I agree with him, but it all comes down to, it's like that whole joke about, what you're willing to do. And someone offers $1 and offers $100, offers $1,000, $100,000, $1 million, and then the person changes their mind and, okay, I'll do it. And it's like, this is not about will you? It all comes down to the Benjamins. In the end, that friendship will be put to the side if there's enough money on the table. And Aljamain just broke the code that he had with Merab. But I'm not saying that fight's going to take place. But yeah, this is the way it is. It's a business.
I mean, I hate to tell it, like, Aljo, do you know that 90% of the athletes in the NFL are making league minimum, $750,000? You're making that already, buddy. That's NFL money. Now, are you talking Patrick Mahomes money, Aaron Rodgers money? All right, that's
a little bit different money.
But you said NFL money. NFL money is about $750. Not everyone's making the Mahomes and the Rodgers and the Brady and they're not making that money.
15%, 20%.
Yeah. I just saw guys get signed, fucking good linebackers, good defensive backs, all these. They just signed a 4-year deal for like $10 million. 4 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you fight 3 times in 1 year, you're making more than them. I mean, I would be around there, I would imagine. You know, if you fight 3 times in 1 year, you're making more than them. They're making that over a 4-year period. It sounds like a lot of money, but it ain't. You know, I got a buddy who
good.
plays.
That's a lot of money. Don't say it ain't.
It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money.
Yeah. But,
you know, but
I understand what you're trying to say.
I've got a buddy who's, you know, on the short list of MVP for the NBA this year, and he plays in Denver. But he signed. He did sign. It's the 4th deal, I believe. You know, and his 4th deal is 4 years, $98 million. That's good money. But when you're talking about some of the guys in the NFL, that money's not in the NFL, that money's not guaranteed.
No, it's not guaranteed. I've had quite a few friends that played in the NFL. None currently because I'm so fucking old. But you know, there was a
your
different
friends'
time
kids.
as far as money.
Your friends' kids,
yeah, exactly. But you know, some of them, you know, when you take a look at the money they make good money, but they didn't make life changing. Oh my God, you know, Patrick Mahomes type money. They made good money, and as long as they were smart and didn't waste that money, they were going to be, you know, okay. They're going to, if you invest it, put it in, you know, some, you know, real estate or something like that. But not everyone is making big money. But again, this is just all part of. There's always that price, you know, and Dana knows that. He knows. Does Dana care enough to give that kind of money? That's really the question.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think so.
Not for that fight.
Not as far as that one.
No, I mean, like they've made adjustments, like for the John Jones Rashad fight. They've made adjustments to pay a little extra to make sure they get that grudge match. And then after that, the gym split, and then and I hate to say that Dana, that's what he wants, but
it is what he wants.
He doesn't really like these super gyms because at some point these fighters are going to have to fight each other.
That's right.
And I don't want to hear, I want to keep avoiding this guy until we get to the title. He's a promoter. He's there to put on the best fights. And if the best fight comes when you guys are both ranked 3 and 4, I'm sorry. You're not getting to the title until you guys fight each other.
Yeah.
And he's there to make money. This has been common. This happens. Like, we'll never fight. We'll never fight. And, you know, it's like, okay, I'll fight him for NFL money. He should have used Major League Baseball money because that's guaranteed money.
Or NBA money.
Yeah, or NBA. But yeah, anyways, I actually really I would love to see this fight. And I understand if they decide they don't want to fight. I'm okay with it.
I hope they don't. I hope it, you know, in the end, you know, like it's never going to happen. I love the relationship those guys have. And the way that they, you know, try to help each other throughout, you know, their camps and everything they're doing. I like what Ray Longo does with them and stuff. So, yeah, I hope it doesn't happen. I don't need to see that fight.
I get it.
I would like to see Merab fight for the title. And I think he can fight for that title when Aljamain decides to go up to featherweight because he's going to do that.
Yeah. It's funny because we had this talk several times in our gym at AK. You know, it was John Fitch, it was Josh Koscheck, it was Mike Swick, all 3 of them constantly being told that they had to fight each other. And Koscheck was the one that told him to fuck off every single time. We want you to fight Swick. Fuck you. We want you to fight. You know, he seriously. I was in the car with him one time when I think it was Joe. Joe had called, and said, hey. And was talking to Bob, and not Joe had called. Bob had called, said he talked to Joe. He's like, yeah, they want you to fight Swick. He's like, fuck him. He's like, I ain't fighting Swick. It's same thing with John Fitch. He's like, no. He's like, tell them to fucking don't even bother to call me if it's regarding John Fitch or Mike Swick. Koss was that guy, man. Like, he maybe sounded like an asshole or was a jerk or an asshole to everyone outside, but when it came down to certain stuff, like that type of shit, he's like, no, fuck you guys. I don't need to fight them. And I appreciated that about him.
I think he's right.
I appreciated that about him. Me, on the other hand, I was different. I said
all about the Benjamins.
No, it was, but I also didn't want to hold people. I also didn't want to hold people back. If I was the champ, I said, hey, I want you to fight me because it's life-changing money. If I wasn't the champ, I said, I don't want you to be offended if I tell you, hey, if it's for the title, I'll fight you. I'm not fighting you any other way.
But it is that exact conversation of, hey, we can make each other a lot of money. Look, you're my friend. But we train all the time, and we're always punching each other in the face. So, all right, let's do it, and both make a lot of money. And afterwards, you know what? No hard feelings. However it goes. Okay, I have no problem with that. But as soon as one guy doesn't want to do it,
Yeah.
and one guy does, there always becomes that friction.
Yeah. The thing is I've never had to fight a friend. I did, like, when I was younger, I fought a friend and we were never the same. But we didn't get paid for it. But it was,
Did that a lot.
yeah. But it's never the same. Like, I don't, maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think that Gilbert and Kamaru Usman have the same relationship they did before they fought. And I would imagine John Jones and Rashad had the same relationship, you know, before they fought. Like, that's the worst part. Like, Tito and Chuck definitely don't. You know, like, there's guys that you come up with, there's guys you train with, there's guys that you've bled with and sweat with and all this, you know, and you guys have made each other better. But once you break that line, it's never the same.
No,
and I agree with you that man, you know, I don't think they should fight. But for me, like, I always looked at this as a business. I'm somebody that could be that way. I could be like, I don't give a shit. Like, there was only one guy, and we just sorted this out at the last Bellator, was Clay Guida. I had a little grudge against. Outside of that, I've never had a grudge against anybody I've ever fought. None of them. Not one person, because I realized, like, when we're older and got kids and grandchildren, it ain't personal, man. And also, too, I wish nothing but the best for all of these fighters, all of them, because there's a struggle ahead. You know, I mean, I was lucky enough to get out with some brain cells still left, you know, but no matter what, there's a struggle ahead. There's a lot. There's injuries. Like, you don't get up out of bed. I'll be 45 here coming up, and it's back, neck, you know, like, these are, and you don't realize it. It just seems like you're like, oh, I'm an athlete, I'll be good for until I'm 50, 60. Yeah, no, it happens within like 3 or 4 years after you start feeling things. Injuries, just little tiny injuries come up. So I wish them nothing, all of them, all the people I ever fought, I wish them nothing but a great life, happy life.
Yep,
so
absolutely.
But hey, before we wrap this show up, go to WeighingInMerch.com, pick up some of our hats, man. Look at our hats. I gotta get me some
Hats
gear.
are looking good.
I gotta get me some
Like
gear,
it.
man. I gotta get me some gear. We gotta get some new designs up too. I want to send over some new designs. We gotta get some new ones up. But yeah,
Yep.
I like that circle one. I think Dave was wearing it the other day. You guys, what? Oh, zip it down. There you
Boom,
go.
baby.
There it is. There it is. Scroll up to the top a little bit more there. I'm not a skull guy, but I get why.
That's a cool skull one though. Mm-hmm. I like that one. That's your head and my head.
I do like that. I do like that. That
The
flag
shield?
one. Yeah, that one's
shield one's
fucking
good.
sick. I need that one for sure. And then I'm more of the all black with the little old school logo. That's me right there. I love that one. I like simple. And I like to wear black. You know what I like? I like to wear black pants, black shirt. But when it comes to like fight stuff,
I've never done that once in my life.
no. When it comes to fight stuff, I've got to have some color, man.
It's so funny because people all the time go, "Wow, you wear black?" Yep, it's easy. Like, I don't have complications in my life, man. It's like, oh, black shirt, right on. I'll wear blue jeans at times. That's it. You know.
Yeah, the best part about with just wearing black, right? You can pretty much be anywhere in the world and find a black shirt or a white shirt that goes along with it.
That's
right. If you've got like it's
just easy, baby.
Yeah, just do the best you can. All right, well, hey, that's going to wrap us up. Make sure you guys go to onlyfans.com/weighingin. Subscribe to our channel there. It is free. It's free. I can't keep saying it's free. But we're doing a live show this week on YouTube, and then we're also going to be heading over to OnlyFans doing a live show there as well. So make sure you guys check us out. And John, wait, you know what we didn't do? We didn't do this the last 2 cards.
What's that?
Rate the show. Rate the card.
I don't think that we rated it before expectation-wise. So I'm going to say, rating this, I love the Fiziev and Gaethje fight. I thought that the Leon versus Kamaru fight was a good fight. There was a couple of fights on there that I really liked, and there was a couple that were just... But I'm going to say overall, 7.5.
For once, I'm not going to be higher than you. 7.5.
Okay.
I was going to say 7.5, and you took the words right out of my mouth. Strategically, the main event was a very strategic fight.
Great.
So I expected that. I wanted that. It was just technique wise, just their abilities. They are fucking fantastic fighters, and they're great people, which makes it even more fun to watch them fight. Fiziev and Gaethje. I mean, I can't say enough about Justin Gaethje. How do you not love the kid, man? He's fantastic. Yep. Fantastic kid. Just a dog of a fighter, and I'm a huge fan. And then outside of that, you go on down. I thought the young kid, what was it? Grant Davey? What's his name? What was the young kid that got the body shot knockout? God, I forgot his name. Jake Hadley.
Oh, Jake Hadley. Yeah.
I love him. Great. I love the way he talks. I love the way he's confident about himself, the way he comes out with the swag. I love it, man. He's got that little swagger about him. Yep. I'm looking forward to seeing him and Mokaev or whatever his name fight. That should be a good fight if they do ever line that fight up. But outside of that, man, there was kind of some lackluster fights, and I think there was some good highlights of some fights. But outside of that, I give it a 7.5.
All right.
All right, John. Well, hey, why don't you take us off, buddy? So
to everyone out there, thank you for tuning in. We have got a good show coming up on Tuesday. Wednesday. What did I say? Tuesday. Coming out on Wednesday, we got some things to talk about. We have a very good UFC that's coming up. And for everyone out there, thanks for tuning in once again, and we will see you.